Hey! Just a quick disclaimer, the images in this video go pretty fast, so if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff, I suggest you click off and go watch a different video. Prioritize your health and stay safe. Also, I don't have a good quality microphone, so I'm just using headphones. If you want to help me get better equipment for these videos, you can support me in my social medias in the description and pledge to my Patreon. Every dollar helps. Okay, on to the video. Hello everyone! My name is Sarah, or Wheelie Scoot as I go by here on the internet. I'm excited to be making a voiceover to this Speedpaint, but if I'm being honest, I was having so much trouble stumbling over my words that I had to make a script. It was too hard to improvise things to say, especially to fill 14 minutes. I just really wanted to do my first Speedpaint justice, you know? Okay, so I guess I should start with the inspiration for this illustration and this video as a whole. I really love watching speed paints on some of my favorite animators' content, such as VivziePop or Ray from Jinja Ninja OWO, and I actually really enjoy listening to artists describing their process, so I thought I'd do that here, although it's been harder to produce than if I just slapped some music on it and called it a day. I have been realizing lately that I'm less confident in my illustration and painting skills, so I wanted to practice taking time on a project that was just for myself of my characters. I was watching some of VivziePop's speed paints, and I thought it was admirable how much work and effort she puts into her illustrations, especially of her own character. I think it really helps make the world you're creating feel more real when you make art that isn't just sketches or character design and shows characters interacting in full color. Okay, so the main focus of this piece is my boy Anteros. In this space world filled with aliens, he's a famous celebrity pop star who does a variety of work. I'm not entirely sure what he does, but I know he's super admired and famous for it. Around him I drew a few gifts that he's been giving, such as star candy and fan letters, as well as work he's produced or starred in. There are magazines and books featuring him, plushes, action figures, and even some adult work for adults. I imagine he's popular with a variety of ages, like teens and adults, so he caters to them all. Anteros is based off the Greek god by the same name who was the god of requited love. I like to do absurd amounts of research on the names. Not really absurd, I just look at different gods, different languages, constellations, and pick a cool name. Anyway, I like to do some research on names, and I felt like this one fit because I imagine he's sort of like a virtual boyfriend of sorts. Like, he caters to people needing love and affection, but not necessarily in like a dirty or adult way, you know? I'm still developing him, but that's his main thing. I think that's why so many people admire him. He's actually based on one of my favorite character archetypes, which is guys who are more feminine. I really adore making characters that break gender norms or gender binary, and I always really enjoy male characters who aren't afraid to show a more traditionally feminine side, like Metaton from Undertale or Angel from Hazbin. One of my goals of creating things is to create stuff that I would like to see, and point blank, I love me some sassy, confident boys. I bet you're wondering who these characters gawking at him are, or not, but I'll tell you anyway. They're all from the same universe, and I'm excited to expand on them as well. Their names are still pretty TBA, but I know for sure the two on the right are Scylla and Button. From left to right, they're a bat demon, weird monster character, fish girl, and plush rabbit character. I imagine all of them would be fans of Anteros. This was definitely a little trial of Fire Alpaca, as I've never really used this program. This would have been made in Krita, but I was having trouble with the pen pressure in that program. I like Krita for animation. I think it's a really effective free program, but illustrations are a mixed bag. I would suggest Fire Alpaca for that. The display is really easy to use and is super similar to a lot of programs that cost money. I think the one thing I prefer in Krita is the color filling. There's a brush where it basically fills in while you draw, and that makes things really fast and fills everything properly. With the tools in this program, they're a little faster, like the lasso, but it didn't fill everything in exactly, so it requires more time and patience. Patience is something I've always struggled with, especially in art. Drawing fast is helpful with things like animation, but with illustration, it's important to take time and make things look neat and pretty. I have also been trying to be more patient with animation to make sure everything stays proportional as well. Also, I always struggle with hands, but I notice if I spend a little more time refining them and focusing on the shapes, they turn out a lot better. Hey, so this is Sarah from the future, off script. I just finished recording audio for this, and I realized that, wow, it is a lot harder to fill 14 minutes with talking about my own illustration, especially considering that it did not take 14 minutes to draw that thing. So I thought I'd just candidly talk a little bit about my experience being on YouTube and the internet, and this is just kind of why I started in the first place, because I really wanted to share my experience and share my love for art and my characters and really just, share my experience. So I always planned on eventually, putting my art out there, but I wasn't exactly sure when, and it always didn't feel like the right time. It's actually interesting, quite a bit before I started this whole channel and my internet presence, I was taking a complete break from social media due to mental health and just in general, and I was a little nervous to get back on social media because I didn't know how it would affect me and if it would be the right choice. But I'm really glad I did it. I've met so many amazing, talented, beautiful artists and gotten to make so many connections and learn so much more about art, and it's been really cool. It's actually kind of funny, the whole reason I started a YouTube channel in the first place and made an art Instagram and well, it's not the reason, but it's kind of what forced me to do it, is I actually, when quarantine started, I started getting really into PewDiePie's videos, and so I realized that this was kind of when the Cocomelon intro started getting really big. I realized that, oh my gosh, I animate, I want to share my animations, I could get in one of PewDiePie's videos. So I spent an entire week working on this Cocomelon intro thing, and oh my gosh, I got so burnt out after that animation because I was working non-stop. Anyone who was like in my house at that moment, like all I was doing was animating. And I was using Krita, I was really new to it because the only animation program that I had ever used before that was Flip-a-Clip, but like not like a good version. It was like a really awful version from my like Kindle Fire, and it was like I used like homemade styluses. It was just a mess. It was garbage, and I was much more comfortable before that animating on paper. So I would actually when I was younger, I would take my 3DS stop motion feature and pieces of paper, and I would animate doing that, and that's how I started. So using Krita was definitely kind of a learning curve. It felt really cool to be using an actual like animation program that was set up the way that I had seen most animation programs, and they seem confusing at first, but they're actually pretty simple to understand, and Krita is really user-friendly, which is really nice. But I didn't really know how layers worked. The only other program I'd used for digital illustration was Autodesk Sketchbook at this point, and so I was just like, how do I use this? And I usually in Autodesk Sketchbook I would like merge the layers at the end of everything before I colored, because then you could just color under everything or something like that. I don't really remember. But Or maybe that was in Flip a Clip. I'm not too sure. But anyway, I decided to merge all the layers and I accidentally merged them with the background. So I couldn't color under the line art at all. So for that whole Cocomelon intro, it's literally just like I was like carefully going around all those black lines with my color because I was like, I am saving this animation. I worked way too freaking hard on this for it to mess out like this. So yeah. So it's really funny because Krita is like, I'm super used to it now, and I'm actually saving up for Toon Boom Harmony at this point because I want to get a better program to eventually work somewhere like in the industry, or just have a better program to just work by myself too. Krita is nice for like a beginning step point, but Toon Boom is like the industry standard, and also, oh my gosh, I have no idea how to do camera movements or tweening. Like, every time I see tweening or camera movements, I'm like, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? Because, like, I'm so used to just, like, traditional animation. Like, the only thing I'm, like, really confident in is making the things move. Just making them move, like, manually by, like, drawing them over and over. So, I don't really understand camera. But I'm hoping I can understand it better with Toon Boom because there's a, like, built-in camera layer, which is really cool. I think that was in this other program that I tried to use. I think it was something Toon. I don't remember. Something Toon, so the Open Tunes? I am not sure. But that program was so confusing. I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. Anyway, I just think it's funny because at that point, the Cocomelon intro, when I was making that was my first real experience really making something big with Krita. I had tried a little bit before, but it was like I kind of lost motivation. I was trying to do that Nightmare Parade meme thing, but it was really hard. I don't know, like I feel like I can make animation memes better when I come up with the idea myself, because I feel like I can replicate something from my head better than like from someone else's head, you know? Yeah, I guess that's why I like animation better than, I don't know, something else that's not animation. Yeah, now I'm super used to Krita and I use it for all my animation work, and now I'm gonna be probably graduating onto something else, so that's interesting. I'm excited to see where that takes me, but yeah, I think it's just interesting how the whole Cocomelon intro thing really pushed me to create a channel, because when I posted it on the subreddit, it got like so much attention, and it was honestly really overwhelming because I wasn't really used to that. But people were like asking me for advice and like complimenting me. It was really nice and sweet, and it made me really happy. But it was also very overwhelming. But the good thing about that is that it pushed me to create a channel. I was like, this is the time, you know, I have all this attention on me, might as well create something and promote it. So I made a YouTube channel, made an Instagram, and I already had a Tumblr. I really wish Tumblr was more popular because that format is just perfect for art. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just like you can post in the exact format that you made it, and you can type a whole essay in the bio. It's like, I really love going to artists that I admire's Tumblrs and just scrolling through everything, because you can tell they like care a lot more, or they cared, like Tumblr isn't super popular anymore, but they cared about like everything that they put there, and like even if it was just little doodles, it was almost like you're going through someone's like mind, like from like their perspective of their art. It was really cool. So I wish that was more popular, but that's why I started a Tumblr at first, but then I realized that I probably wasn't going to reach that many people on Tumblr. So, and I do have a Twitter and I do have a DeviantArt, but I'm not super keen on using those. I already don't really like Twitter in general, but especially not for like art. I feel like it's just very like, I feel like Twitter, even more than Instagram, focuses way too much on trends, and it's just hard to grow following. It's like just not friendly for artists. So I'm mostly on Twitter, just like on my personal account, but I don't even go on there like that much on my personal account. So anyway, I have been talking for a while actually, and that was actually not that bad. I guess I can talk without a script, so that's cool. But anyway, I'm gonna let past Sarah take you on a little end card adventure. I really liked making this illustration. It was definitely a learning process, and I'm excited to make more. I'm just really happy to be sharing my work and characters, and even more happy that people really like them. I appreciate every little bit of support. It means the world to me. Also, I just made a Patreon. I'm posting behind the scenes content, bonus content, early access content, and you can get a lot of stuff from me if you pledge. The lowest tier is only $1, so if you want to support me and help me get a better editing program so I can get rid of this Filmora logo, then go check it out. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. Also check out my social media in the description. Thank you, Creative Juices, for being a lovely patron. Stay safe and love you guys.